Hello friends, this is Jeffrey Lee, your local ET. I'm going to talk a little bit about some organizational tools that could make digital learning a lot easier, especially if you're a student. So the two things I'm going to talk about are Google Keep and Google Tasks. I'm going to talk about Google Tasks first because Tasks is a to-do list software. It's really easy. And then we'll talk about the note-taking, which is Google Keep. But Tasks we're going to do first. So how do we use Google Tasks practically in your classroom? I'm going to go ahead and go to Miss Wallenberg's class, and I'm also going to go to Mr. Lorcher's class, and I will make a task list with both of these. I first have to understand what my assignments are, so in Miss Wallenberg's class, I'm going to go to my weekly plans, press start here, and this is her weekly plans where she basically makes it really easy for us, right? We have to watch video about shifted form parabola, complete the homework, which is in Schoology. Watch the video, complete the homework. So those are 4 tasks that I can think of right now that I'm going to go ahead and add to my task list. The last one is screen-free Wednesday activity, and so that's a 5th task for that week that I can add to my tasks list. Okay, it's also really nice to know when they're due. And it's also very nice to know how to submit the assignments, and that could be some extra information you could put on your tasks if you want to. So I know that this is a Google Doc, so I'm going to go ahead and just open this Google Doc up so that I can go ahead and create tasks from that Google Doc. So right over here, I'm going to go over to Tasks. I'm going to add a task. And there's 2 ways to do, if it's nested like this, where there's 2 little tasks underneath the main one, I can do it 2 ways. I can either put lesson 3, watch video, press enter and do lesson 3, complete homework and notes, or I can say lesson 3, press the little edit button and create some subtasks. Watch video, complete homework. And I'm gonna change this a little bit. I'm gonna say take notes and then complete homework. I also know the due date, right? So all assignments are due no later than 11:59. So I can very quickly, and it's gonna get easier as you go on, but I can very quickly press add a due date, and I know that it's gonna be due no later than Friday, April 3rd. So I'm gonna go to April 3rd, and I think it's meant to be April to May 3rd because we're already in that week. So I'm going to press April 3rd, which would be Sunday, which would make sense. And I'm also going to set the time so that it's 11:59. So now what I have is a task that's underneath the homework task list, and it's embedded with a bunch of mini tasks in between. And it looks like this. And I like that a little bit better because it's a little bit more organized, right? As I get through all of these task 3 tasks, I can check them off. And then once I'm done with that, lesson 3 is all the way done. If you do it like this, it can get a little bit mushy. It can get a little bit weird, right? I'm going to take those off because I like the way of nesting. There we go. I'm going to bring back the lesson 3, the watch video, the take notes, the complete homework. Okay, because I have one more to add, I have to add lesson 4. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. I'm going to go lesson 4. Okay, and I'm going to edit this. I'm going to add a subtask, right? I'm going to go watch video, take notes, and complete homework, right? And I'm going to add a time. I know that that's May 3rd, the time. I don't have to do all of this, but if I want to stay super organized, I can just put all this in really quickly. Now, you can put as little or as much information as you need. You can even put details about it if you want to remind yourself something, but it's essentially going to look like this, which is very nice and very organized. You can also drag things so that they're in the correct order, right? There's one more assignment here, and that's screen-free Wednesday. So I'm going to add a task, and I'm going to put screen-free activity. I can go over here and add some details. And in order to do the details, I'm going to want to see what that activity is, right? It says, please read before Wednesday and turn in after Wednesday slope and rate of change. But I can go ahead and go to the materials and see what that is and maybe put a little bit more detail in there. I'm going to go to the week that I was on, that the assignments were in, and I'm going to click on it. and I can see all the assignments. And remember, I'm looking for Wednesday, so I'm going to go down to screen-free Wednesday. And obviously, every teacher is going to look a little bit different. And then what I can do, if I wanted to, I could take little bits or all of this, copy it, go ahead and go back to any of my Google apps that have tasks on it. So that's basically all of them. And I was working on Miss Wallenberg task list, so I'm going to do that. And I'll add these details, right? Now it's a lot of details, so let's see how it shows up. When I press back, it's going to show up a little bit, but it's not going to show me everything, which is going to keep this nice and neat. So now I know that I have lesson 3, lesson 4, and the Wednesday activity. And if I open up the Wednesday activity, I can read what it was I was supposed to do for that activity, right? So it's nice and organized. I can further organize this by deciding which lessons I want to do at what times and when I want to do the activity. So if I wanted to do lesson 3 on Monday and Tuesday, and then lesson 4 on Thursday and Friday, I could take Wednesday activity and put it in the middle, and that way I can kind of gauge to myself when I'm going to do these assignments. I have them all in a task list called homework. I have a lot of different task lists, which can give me a lot of different lists of tasks, right? So homework is all the homework assignments that I have for this week. You can imagine this might get a little bit cluttered if you have multiple homework assignments for every class. So let's see how this looks. I'm going to go ahead and go into social studies with Mr. Lorcher, and I'm going to go into the same week, that week 2 that we were at. So for this one, I've read through already, so I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be making a tourism project slideshow. And here's the instructions right here, right? And luckily, I have a Google slide that he's created. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up so I can work from this and I know what I need to do, okay? I'm going to go ahead and close Miss Wallenberg's because I'm done organizing my time and tasks. And I'm going to go ahead and look back at Mr. Lorcher's stuff. So he says folder where you submit assignments. I'm going to click there, and I see I have 2 assignments. That's it. I can see when they're due. This one is a makeup, but this one is due April 26th at 11:59, right? So I'm going to open this because this is probably going to give me some details, but I do know that there's only 2. So it doesn't have a whole lot of details, so that's probably because it's over here in this example. And I also know that he did have this video, which shows you how to do it step by step. And he has this project sign up and all that kind of stuff. So I can kind of figure that if I haven't signed up, I have to sign up for African Tourism Project. And I believe he said that in the video. I then have to look at my African Tourism Project slideshow instructions, and then I have to submit them. Okay, so this could be a multifaceted task, as I have to look through all of these pieces and decide what I have to, what my presentation is going to be. So I'm going to open up tasks, and it's going to open up as homework. And I'm going to create one. And the first one I'm going to create is watch that video, right? I'm going to watch that video. So watch African tourism video. One of the cool things about tasks is it's just for you. Nobody else owns these tasks. You can be as organized as you want, and if you misspell a word in tasks, nobody's going to see it. So don't beat yourself up if you make a spelling error. As long as you understand it, you're good to go. So I can say watch African tourism video. And if I want to continue with what I was doing here, I might even want to copy that and make that a subtask and just put my class name for right now, right? Or the assignment. So I'm going to put African tourism. And once again, I can edit it, add tasks, and the first one's going to be watch African tourism video, right? The next one can be look at rubric. So I know how it is I'm going to be graded on this, right? The next one will be sign up for presentation, because I know if I look back that I had to sign up for that presentation. And the last one could be create presentation and then turn it in. And once again, I'm going to be as specific as possible. And I know the due date. I know when it's supposed to be done. It's supposed to be done on, if I look back, April 26th at 11:59, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go back, and I'm going to say April 26th. Okay. But this is what I have now. I have 2 classes, and I have one assignment with some subtasks, another assignment with some subtasks, another assignment, and another assignment with some subtasks. So this is 2 classes. If this seems overwhelming, then you might want to organize it slightly differently. So what could work for you, since you're going to be having multiple classes, is to add a new task list. So if I create a new task list, I can do one just for history. I have a task list for history, right? And I had homework, but I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to call it Algebra 1. So now I have an Algebra 1 and a history. Don't worry about these others. Those are for me personally, because I do use this a lot. So if I go into homework, I can take this lesson 3, and I can change it over to Algebra 1, because I know that's Algebra 1, and it's going to move it. I can change this one over from homework to Algebra 1. I can change this one over from homework to Algebra 1. And then I can change the African tourism from homework to history. So now everything's a little bit more organized. So I can go into the history and I can see what my history assignments are for that week. I can go into Algebra 1 and see what my Algebra 1 assignments are for that week. And I can do that for all of my classes. Now you still want to know what is due when so you can organize your life a little bit better. So I would recommend that you have one task list for every class so you can have those details of what you need to do. And then also a task list where you say what you need to do when. So since this is due on the 26th, this African tourism presentation, I can say African tourism, and I'm going to go ahead and put history. And then I'm going to simply put Algebra 1, and I'm going to put lesson 1, lesson 2, and I believe it was 3 and 4 if I look back. Let me look back real quick just to make sure. Go over to Algebra 1, lesson 3 and 4. Okay, so I'm going to go back over to homework, lesson 3, lesson 4, and if this is all the information you want to have on it, if you want to make it super simple, so all you have to do is know that you have an African tourism assignment and then go and look for it, feel free to do that. You don't have to have it as detailed as this, but that is something that is an option, okay? So if I go back over one last time to homework, I can say that this one, I'm going to go ahead and do this one because I know it's due sooner. I'm going to do this one on the 24th. Okay, I'm not going to put a due date. It's not due on the 24th, but I want to complete it on the 24th. So today I'm going to work on that, right? And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go ahead and add a date for this. So let's say I've already done it, and I did it on Monday, right? And I wanted it to be Monday by 4:30 is when I wanted to do it, right? So now I can see today I have to do African tourism, and 4 days ago I was supposed to do Algebra 1. So by 4 days ago, I probably should have checked off all these pieces, which, if you're doing the in-depth version, you would go into each one of these, and every time you complete something to keep yourself on task, you mark it as complete. And then it's nice and neat and ready for the next week. And the same thing can be done. Say I just finished my history, I watched the video, I looked at the rubric, I signed up, I created a presentation, I turned it in, I am done. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my homework, and this is done. And now look, I have no homework until next Monday.